welcome in the kitchen. I'm so glad you're here. If you're new, God, thanks for stopping by. If you could hit the thumbs up button and the subscribe button, it helps everybody else to see my videos. And if you could hit that share it to your social media, put it on Pinterest, wherever. Just get me out there so people can see me. Because I hope that I inspire a few people along the way to start cooking at home and not eating out. Eating out's expensive. We do it occasionally just because I do get tired of cooking, you all. I mean, I'll just be honest, I do. But for the most part, we eat 3 meals a day here at home. We don't eat out. And I've just come from Sam's, and I have a huge amount of groceries that we need to put up so that they'll be in the freezer for us to have for the next month or 6 weeks. So first, I've got mushrooms. And you see they're wrapped in cellophane. We're going to start with the easy stuff. You got to get them out of this plastic, because if you leave them in there, they're going to rot, okay? If you get them out of that plastic, put that over in the trash bowl, dump them right here in this. This is a little basket. No, this is let you know, y'all. It's got little holes in it. Can y'all see those little holes? So air can get around it. That's really dirty. And I wipe these off before I chop them and cook them, okay? I do not wipe them off or do anything to them when I bring them in. Because if you do, you never want to wash your mushrooms. You want to just wipe them off, because they're a little sponge and they will absorb up all that water. I'm trying to get all these little babies over here. Up there on one side. I'll wipe a little more dirt off that one. Because now I've got my big white button mushrooms. We're going to do the same thing with these. They're great big. I may stuff some of these. Oh yeah, these are pretty. Look how big. I think we will have to stuff some of those. Look at this one. Look how big that one is. Okay, there we go. There's all those. That's all I did to them, pop them in the refrigerator. And they'll last at least 3 weeks, but they probably won't be around here for 3 weeks because we'll eat them all. But there you go. I'm gonna pop those in the refrigerator somewhere in a minute. I gotta get my meat out. All right, now then, we've got celery sticks. Y'all, my celery, I got 2 bags of celery. And I had somebody ask me how I did my vegetables to put in the freezer. I'm gonna get my bag out of the freezer, okay? I'll keep it all in. These are the resealable, reusable Ziploc bags. They're heavier than just a regular Ziploc freezer bag. Plus, they'll last a long, long time, forever probably. I've got a little bit of celery in there already. You see, a little bit of celery. All right, what I do with this is easy peasy. Let's grab our chopper here. This is an onion chopper, celery chopper, carrot chopper, whatever you want to chop in it. Okay. I need to get out my colander. Get this one that hangs across the, turn y'all around here just a little bit so you can see. There you go. This is our trash. This hangs across here. And I'm gonna pop this celery in there and wash it. Like this. Okay? All these celery sticks. Put them on cold water and wash them. Just wanna wash them good, and then I'm gonna chop them up and put them straight in the freezer. I do not blanch them. I do not do one thing to them except chop them up and put them in the freezer. Okay, turn y'all back around here just a little bit. Grab my big old knife. Got a big old knife here. Cut the ends off. Cut them just like that. There you go. That's all I do, you all, myself. To put it in the freezer. I do the same thing with onions, and I do the same thing with carrots. Okay? See? There you go. Alright, to make this video shorter for you all so you don't have to watch me do every bit of this, I'm going to chop up the rest of my celery, and I'll bring y'all back when we get ready to do the next thing. Okay, y'all, that took me about 10 minutes. If that long, I'm not even sure. But now I have one bag of celery. A big bag of celery for the freezer. Y'all, that's all I do to it. I do not blanch it. I do not do one other thing to it. That is it. And I've got one bag for the refrigerator to use for fresh salads and things like that. All right, there's that going up. Okie doke. Now then, I'm gonna wash this up. I'm not gonna do anything else with it right now. So I'm good with that. Next thing we're gonna do some carrots. Got a big bag of carrots. We're gonna throw these in this colander right here that hangs over my stove that I love. It collapses down. I've got 2 of them. I love them. For this or anything, look at this. And it'll collapse down and it'll hang. Not like that. Alright, here go my carrots. Now this doesn't take long at all to do your vegetables like this. I'm gonna wash these off good. And then I am gonna run the vegetable peeler across these carrots. These carrots I'm going to use in a roast, more than likely. I have real fine carrots for soup, and then I have some chunkier carrots more for a vegetable soup if we want that. But these, I'm going to peel them all first. Get that gusty cleaned up before I start to cut them. Okay, so I'll just drop them right back in there. Y'all, I don't blanch these carrots either. They go straight into the freezer, just like the celery, just like my tomatoes, if I'm freezing tomatoes. If I don't do my beans that way, or my corn. Things like, look at this, it's got a little baby on the end of it. I'll cut that off. Some things I do blanch, my corn, my beans. If I'm freezing them, I like to can my beans, I like to freeze my corn. This is stuff that I use all the time, that I buy once a month or every 2 months, something like that. I don't grow it, I just buy it at the store, because the more you buy, the a little bit cheaper it is, and you can stick them up here in your little freezer. You don't even have to put them in a deep freeze if you're going to use them pretty quick. But I go ahead and get them washed and ready to go before I ever put them away. That way, when I'm in a hurry, and I am in a hurry a lot of times, and I want to throw something in the crock pot or in my slow cooker or something like that, I'll just have to take my roast out, throw in me some potatoes, throw in the carrots, my soup, and in about 5 minutes I've got supper cooking, and I can go on and do whatever else it is I need it to do without having to stop and peel and do all that, because I've already done it. I've already done all the prep work. And you working mamas out there, if you take a day a month and do it like this, then the rest of your life is just going to be so much easier. I mean, just so much easier, because you've already done all your prep work. And so for the next month, you don't have to peel a carrot, or you don't have to chop celery for soup or anything like that, because it's already done. Everything is ready to go. And I love to do it this way, because I'm not always in the mood to stand here and peel a carrot, you all. I'll just be honest. But when I've got a whole bunch to do, and I know when I get them done that I'm good to go for a while, then I don't mind it as much. And then I know what I've got for my family to eat, which is my fresh frozen vegetables. And you know, it's not something that's been laying in a warehouse for months and then put in the freezer. You know, I got it when it was fresh and I froze it, so I know what's going in my food. You know, that's a big thing these days. So many people are becoming gluten-free. It used to be, you never heard of anybody being gluten-free or gluten intolerant. You know, everybody could eat a loaf of bread, but not anymore. And I think it's because so many of our processed foods that we eat have harmed our bodies. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. Do not quote me on that. It's just something that I wonder about. I don't know. It's just a wondering of mine. Maybe there's been a study done on it and y'all can tell me. I don't know. But I do know that we traveled here recently just for a couple of days, and so we were eating out, and there was not one thing that I thought that I enjoyed eating. Nothing. Honestly, there was nothing that I enjoyed eating. And we ate out for 2.5 days, almost 3 days. And the best thing I got was a cup of coffee. And so that just tells you, if you get used to eating your own cooking, and you add your own seasonings, your own spices and things to your food, you will really enjoy it more than you will. Well, I'm about to get all these 5 pounds of carrots cut up, get ready to cut up here, just jabbering at you all. Just jabber away. I've been making Christmas stockings. I like to knit, y'all, and so I've been making Christmas stockings. And so we'll have new Christmas stockings this year. And I've got another project. When my mama passed away, she left a big bunch of Department 56 Snow Village pieces. That was her and my daddy. They loved that village. They did. They enjoyed putting it up every year. And I've got a big square baby grand piano that was my grandmother's, that Mama always put it on. And that thing is huge. I do not have room for it, and I don't know that I ever will have room for it. It's in storage right now. It's beautiful wood, and I do want to take the wood and do something with it. But Mama always put on this piano, and it was 40 inches one way and 80 inches the other. So it's like this massive table that she could use. And so they decorated it. They put up a choo-choo train around it, an electric train, all this stuff. So I've been looking into what I could do with it, that I could make it in this house. And I decided I wanted to put it inside a tree, a Christmas tree. So I ordered me an artificial tree because we always have a live tree. We always have to go hunt our tree and get it and bring it home. And so we're going to attempt. I'll bring y'all along for this. My brother wants me to because he wants to see how I do it. And some of the rest of you may too. Maybe not you, maybe somebody else out there in video land. We've made little pieces of plywood. He's cut me little pieces of plywood to make like little shelves that we're going to attach to the limbs of the tree. So the tree will come out and you make your little scenes all in the tree with your houses and your people and all that. And I'm kind of anxious to get that up. And I may get it up before Thanksgiving. I don't know. Might wait till afterwards. Haven't quite decided. It'll just hit me one day and I'll decide to do it. And when I do, I'll bring y'all along with me. All right, I got all the carrots done. Get all of our shavings put over here in the garbage bowl. All right, there's that. Got all that in the garbage bowl. Now then, I'm gonna cut off the ends. Throw that in the garbage bowl. Like I said, these carrots I'm going to use for a roast because I'm out of roast carrots. I have just little rounds and I have little tiny chopped up, diced up carrots. If I want to put them in a chicken noodle soup or something. So these up here and they'll go straight into the freezer. Some of them might go in a pot here in a few minutes with the roast that I would like to put in the freezer. And that might be what we have for supper because I've got a bag of potatoes right here. I'm going to tell y'all about that too. When you get your potatoes, they're usually in some sort of plastic. You see this big old bag of potatoes. The back side of it is a mesh, okay? And you think, well, they can get air, they'll be fine. And I guess in reality, they might be fine. I don't know, but I know that I've had potatoes, even with the mesh on one side of the bag, that would rot, and that's because of all of the plastic. So I take mine out. We'll do it here in just a minute. I'm about to put these carrots. Got two more to cut the ends off of. I don't believe I peeled that one. This one needs its peelings got off. I lost it down in the bottom. Alright, there's that one. Alright, let me show you how to do potatoes. I have me a half a bushel peach basket, and it's a natural basket, just an old peach basket. Put me some paper towels in the bottom to keep the dirt off of my floor, off of my pantry floor. And there you go. You want to drop your potatoes in there just like that. You do not want to leave them in the plastic. You want to put them where air can circulate around them. That's one of the things with your mushrooms. You don't want them in the plastic. When your vegetables, you put them in your refrigerator. Take them out of the plastic. Apples out of the plastic. And I keep my onions in my refrigerator. They last so much longer. And when I've already done my onions, I should have left them for you all. But I take all that, you know, when you buy an onion, it's got all the dried edges on it. I take all that off, just kind of brush them with my hands good, and it keeps my refrigerator clean. Cleaner, not clean, but cleaner. So here's our potatoes. I'll put those away. potatoes just sit in the floor of my pantry. You rinse off my fingers. Got a hold of that. Alright, now then, these carrots, I'm going to cut, they're big and fat, so I'm going to cut some of them into lengthwise and cut them just like that. I just take my knife, just right like that. Like I said, we're going to put some of these in a roast in a little bit. And I'll make a separate video of that for you all because I have so many people that want to know how I fix a roast. And y'all, it's the easiest thing and absolutely the easiest thing in the world to do is to fix a roast like I do it. Let me get me a bag out of here to put those carrots in. Let's see, where did I put all those bags? Oh, here's my carrot bag. So here we go with all of our carrots. And I've got chicken to do. See, this one's not real fat, so I'm just going to cut him in two like that. This one's okay. This one's a little fatter. Y'all that buy the baby carrots, there's not a thing in this world wrong with buying baby carrots, but I find the bigger carrots are sweeter. It's just a personal preference for me, but I like the bigger carrots. I think they're a sweeter carrot, and I like the sweetness. The baby ones, all you have to do with them, you don't even have to wash them. I do, but they've been washed. They're ready to eat. See, I'm just chopping these up just real quickly. Alright, the rest of those I believe I'll just save for our roast. I'll just leave them laying out here. Alright, here's our carrots. There we go. We'll put those up there in the freezer. I'm going to turn y'all off and I'm going to get some of the meat out. I'm going to clean up some of this mess. And I'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, y'all. Here we are. We've got ground beef. I've got 2 packages. This one's 4.5 pounds. This one's 4.6 pounds, okay? So here we go. I've also got my sausage. It's 2 pounds of sausage. And I'm going to cut this into thirds, okay? And I'm going to take this right here, probably put it into 4 pieces. And this is where I wash my hands off, y'all. Maybe working with me. Okay, I've got my food saver right here. Can y'all see it? I hope you can. Turn it this way so you can see it a little bit better. It's got my bag roll back here. And I'm going to make 3 bags here really quickly. And I'm going to go ahead and mark them so I know what's in it. And I will Clorox that board. Y'all don't holler. She's going to put vegetables on it because I'm going to Clorox it. And what's today's date? Today's the 31st. I'm going to make 3 of these that say spaghetti on it because I put hamburger meat. If y'all have watched my spaghetti sauce recipe, you know I put hamburger and sausage. In it. That one's kind of... Okay, there's those for our spaghettis. Now then, I will have 4 more pounds of hamburger meat. 5 more. So I will need 5 more bags here. There's 1. And these I'll just put the date on. And I put the date on it because I want to use my oldest first. Actually, I think I'm going to do some of those double because for chili, we like more meat. I use about 2 pounds. So we'll do 2 big ones and 1 small one. And I'll mark this chili. We eat chili at least once a week in the fall while we watch football on Saturday night. That's our chili night. And my son loves chili and he can't wait for chili season. And, you know, when it's hot, they start football in the summertime. And he starts hollering for chili. And I'm like, it's too hot to eat chili right now. We have to wait. And he'll say, till it gets cold. I'll say, yes, till it gets cold. And then in the spring, he hollers he wants to go swim. And I'll say, we have to wait for it to warm up. So we're always a season ahead with him. All right, there's our bags for this ground beef and sausage that we're going to do. Let's just go ahead and do this ground beef first right here. And I just take it right like that. And I'm going to show y'all what I do to it. I kind of mash it out once I get it in the bag because it will thaw quicker than it will in a clump. Plus, it will, so I mash it out until it's all the way across there. I don't want it real thick. That way it'll thaw out in just a little bit of time. And it'll lay flat and don't take up, it'll be easier to store. I won't say it takes up less room because it's the size it is, right? It doesn't change its size, changes its shape. And I'll just put it down in there right like that. And mash it out. Because, like I said, it takes a lot less time for it to thaw out that way. All right, there's 1 pack down. Wash my hand off again. We've also got chili. We've also got chicken to do, and we've got some roasts, and we've got a pork loin to cut. So we got lots of things to do today. But here's these 2. I'm gonna go ahead and seal them. And they'll be ready to go. Oh, it's loud. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Y'all, I watch for the juice. It's not really blood, I don't think, but the juice to start coming up into my bag. And when it does, I hit the seal button because that's where a lot of your flavor is. All right, there's that. Now then, we got to cut this. Let me grab a knife. Oh, we still got 1 more thing of this to do, don't we? 1 more thing of ground beef. All right, let's just do that before we get our sausage out and going. And then this ground beef, you all, I'll take and make a meatloaf or hamburger stroganoff or tacos or lasagna soup or and y'all, since this, like I said, it's about 4 pounds, a little more than 4 pounds. So this is just a little more than a pound, which is about what you need for about any kind of a recipe. So here we go. Let's mash this out good. All right, there's that one. Okie doke. Now then, we've got 3 things here. I'm going to set that right there. Wash my hands off again. All right, there's our 3 packs of ground beef. Now then, we're going to cut this, like I said, in thirds. And I will Clorox this board. I do it all the time. It does not hurt it. Okay, I was counting my little marks so I know how many to go. There's 7. There's 21 little marks, so I'm going to cut it. Cut it right like that. That's it. There we go. Now then, for this, let me show you what I do here. I take my ground beef, hamburger meat, whatever y'all want to call it. It's ground beef, actually, is its technical name. Put it on one side, right like this. I take my sausage, and I squeeze it out of the thing. I put it right here on this side. Right like that. Then I mash them out, mash them together just like this. So they're the same thickness, so they'll thaw evenly. And I'll seal that up right there. That's got my ground beef and my sausage ready to go for my spaghetti. And because I don't want to say, oh, we'll have spaghetti and then not have one or the other. So I know I've got 3 things of spaghetti here. And this will last us about a month. Y'all, I don't buy groceries more than once a month, just simply because I don't want to. I just don't like to. And y'all, this can touch, it can go together because you're going to cook it together, okay? Unless you're like my daughter and she freaks out if anything touches on her plate. There is a condition. It's truly a condition, and I don't know what the name of it is, but I did see that one time somewhere. So here we go. All right, let's mash this one down, and these will be ready to go. And then we'll get out something else because we're gonna do some pork chops, some other things. So I hope y'all stay with me through this video. I've got some marinade recipes I want to share with you here in just a little bit. So don't turn me off just because you didn't want to watch me cut up celery. The good part's at the end, right? You never know what's coming. Y'all, this doesn't take any time at all to do. And like I said, I take one afternoon a month, do all my meal prep like this, and I'm good to go. Just throw in a pot, and in 30 minutes I've got supper. If y'all don't have a food saver, put it in a Ziploc bag. It'll be just fine. I used them for years till I got this, but I just love this thing. I do. I don't hardly ever buy Ziploc bags anymore. And when I make my spaghetti sauce, I use my tomatoes I canned, all my spices. I do add a can of tomato paste because I want it to thicken it just a little bit. All right, now there's our hamburger and our sausage done. All right, let's throw this away and go on to the next thing. I think we're going to do a roast. Here we go. Here's our roast. I've got right at 6 pounds of roast here, 3 pounds a piece. And we're going to put 3 of these in the freezer in some form or fashion. I think we're going to cut some of it up for soup, because that way I just throw it in the crock pot when I'm making a pot of soup. And let's do about 4 bags for soup, and we're going to have a roast for supper, because I've got some other roasts already out there left from last time. Yeah. It's not wanting to cut. I'll have to cut it with a pair of scissors. Cut right there. All right, let's cut this one. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and mark it. Soup, beef, with the date. All right, there we go. And like I said, we're going to cook part of this. This is a chuck roast, which is what I like the best. It's got the best flavor. All right, there we go. It's got some fat in it we need to cut out, but we will leave some of it. We will, because guess what? That's where all your flavor is, people. That's what makes it so tender. So I'm just going to cut this up in cubes, just like that. Can y'all see? I'm just going to cube this up. Like I said, we'll cut out these big chunks of fat, because that's not good. I'm going to get me a better knife. Get me a big knife. This is better. It's easier to do this with. Look how pretty that is and marbled. That's where all your flavor is, people. All your flavors right there. Y'all can make stroganoff out of this after it's cubed. You can do what I'm going to do and make soup. Or I might make stroganoff. Or just braised beef tips with a wine sauce or an onion sauce or a tomato sauce or whatever. This is tender, people. I'm telling you. If you don't buy chuck roast, you're missing out. Alright. I'll cut that big vein of fat right there out of this. They usually do have a big vein of fat in them. They usually do. Yes, indeed. If you buy ground chuck, this is what you're getting, people. Just like this. I'll try to get all the meat I can. Alright, y'all won't need to watch me cut up every bit of this, but I'm going to cut all this up. Then I'm going to put it in these bags and seal it up. Then we'll be on to our chicken. Okay, y'all. Here we are. We've got ground beef. I've got 2 packages. This one's 4.5 pounds. This one's 4.6 pounds, okay? So here we go. I've also got my sausage. 2 pounds of sausage. And I'm going to cut this into thirds, okay? And I'm going to take this right here, probably put it into 4 pieces. And this is where I wash my hands off, y'all. They be working with me. Okay, I've got my food saver right here. Can y'all see it? I hope you can. Turn it this way so you can see it a little bit better. It's got my bag roll back here. And I'm going to make 3 bags here really quickly. And I'm going to go ahead and mark them so I know what's in it. And I will Clorox that board. Y'all don't holler. She's going to put vegetables on it because I'm going to Clorox it. And what's today's date? Today's the 31st. I'm going to make 3 of these that say spaghetti on it because I put hamburger meat. If y'all have watched my spaghetti sauce recipe, you know I put hamburger and sausage. In it. That one's kind of... Okay, there's those for our spaghettis. Now then, I will have 4 more pounds of hamburger meat. 5 more. So I will need 5 more bags here. There's 1. And these I'll just put the date on. And I put the date on it because I want to use my oldest first. Actually, I think I'm going to do some of those double because for chili, we like more meat. I use about 2 pounds. So we'll do 2 big ones and 1 small one. And I'll mark this chili. We eat chili at least once a week in the fall while we watch football on Saturday night. That's our chili night. And my son loves chili and he can't wait for chili season. And, you know, when it's hot, they start football in the summertime. And he starts hollering for chili. And I'm like, it's too hot to eat chili right now. We have to wait. And he'll say, till it gets cold. I'll say, yes, till it gets cold. And then in the spring, he hollers he wants to go swim. And I'll say, we have to wait for it to warm up. So we're always a season ahead with him. All right, there's our bags for this ground beef and sausage that we're going to do. Let's just go ahead and do this ground beef first right here. And I just take it right like that. And I'm going to show y'all what I do to it. I kind of mash it out once I get it in the bag because it will thaw quicker than it will in a clump. Plus, it will, so I mash it out until it's all the way across there. I don't want it real thick. That way it'll thaw out in just a little bit of time. And it'll lay flat and don't take up, it'll be easier to store. I won't say it takes up less room because it's the size it is, right? It doesn't change its size, changes its shape. And I just put it down in there right like that and mash it out. Because, like I said, it takes a lot less time for it to thaw out that way. All right, there's one pack down. Wash my hand off again. We've also got chili. We've also got chicken to do, and we've got some roasts, and we've got a pork loin to cut. So we got lots of things to do today. But here's these two. I'm gonna go ahead and seal them. And they'll be ready to go. Oh, it's loud. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Y'all, I watch for the juice. It's not really blood, I don't think, but the juice to start coming up into my bag. And when it does, I hit the seal button because that's where a lot of your flavor is. All right, there's that. Now then, we got to cut this. Let me grab a knife. Oh, we still got one more thing of this to do, don't we? One more thing of ground beef. All right, let's just do that before we get our sausage out and going. And then this ground beef, you all, I'll take and make a meatloaf or hamburger stroganoff or tacos or lasagna soup or and y'all, since this, like I said, it's about 4 pounds, a little more than 4 pounds. So this is just a little more than a pound, which is about what you need for about any kind of a recipe. So here we go. Let's mash this out good. All right, there's that one. Okie doke. Now then, we've got 3 things here. I'm going to set that right there. Wash my hands off again. All right, there's our 3 packs of ground beef. Now then, we're going to cut this, like I said, in thirds. And I will Clorox this board. I do it all the time. It does not hurt it. Okay, I was counting my little marks so I know how many to go. There's 7. There's 21 little marks, so I'm going to cut it. Cut it right like that. That's it. There we go. Now then, for this, let me show you what I do here. I take my ground beef, hamburger meat, whatever y'all want to call it. It's ground beef, actually, is its technical name. Put it on one side, right like this. I take my sausage, and I squeeze it out of the thing. I put it right here on this side. like that. Then I mash them out, mash them together just like this. It's where they're the same thickness, so they'll thaw evenly. And I'll seal that up right there. That's got my ground beef and my sausage ready to go for my spaghetti. And because I don't want to say, oh, we'll have spaghetti and then not have one or the other. So I know I've got 3 things of spaghetti here. And this will last us about a month. Y'all, I don't buy groceries more than once a month, just simply because I don't want to. I just don't like to. And y'all, this can touch, it can go together because you're going to cook it together, okay? Unless you're like my daughter and she freaks out if anything touches on her plate. There is a condition. It's truly a condition, and I don't know what the name of it is, but I did see that one time somewhere. So here we go. All right, let's mash this one down, and these will be ready to go. And then we'll get out something else because we're gonna do some pork chops, some other things. So I hope y'all stay with me through this video. I've got some marinade recipes I want to share with you here in just a little bit. So don't turn me off just because you didn't want to watch me cut up celery. The good part's at the end, right? You never know what's coming. Y'all, this doesn't take any time at all to do. And like I said, I take one afternoon a month, do all my meal prep like this, and I'm good to go. Just throw in a pot, and in 30 minutes I've got supper. If y'all don't have a food saver, put it in a Ziploc bag. It'll be just fine. I used them for years till I got this, but I just love this thing. I do. I don't hardly ever buy Ziploc bags anymore. And when I make my spaghetti sauce, I use my tomatoes I canned, all my spices. I do add a can of tomato paste because I want it to thicken it just a little bit. All right, now there's our hamburger and our sausage done. All right, let's throw this away and go on to the next thing. I think we're going to do a roast. Here we go. Here's our roast. I've got right at 6 pounds of roast here, 3 pounds a piece. And we're going to put 3 of these in the freezer in some form or fashion. I think we're going to cut some of it up for soup, because that way I just throw it in the crock pot when I'm making a pot of soup. And let's do about 4 bags for soup, and we're going to have a roast for supper, because I've got some other roasts already out there left from last time. Yeah. It's not wanting to cut. I'll have to cut it with a pair of scissors. All right, let's cut this one. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and mark it. Soup, beef, with the date. All right, there we go. And like I said, we're going to cook part of this. This is a chuck roast, which is what I like the best. It's got the best flavor. All right, there we go. It's got some fat in it we need to cut out. But we will leave some of it. We will. Because, guess what? That's where all your flavor is, people. That's what makes it so tender. So I'm just going to cut this up in cubes. Just like that. Can y'all see? I'm just going to cube this up. Like I said, we'll cut out these big chunks of fat, because that's not good. I'm going to get me a better knife. Get me a big knife. This is better. It's easier to do this with. Look how pretty that is and marbled. That's where all your flavor is, people. All your flavors right there. Y'all can make stroganoff out of this after it's cubed. You can do what I'm going to do and make soup. Or I might make stroganoff. Or just braised beef tips with a wine sauce or an onion sauce or a tomato sauce or whatever. This is tender, people. I'm telling you, if you don't buy chuck roast, you're missing out. All right, I'll cut that big vein of fat right there out of this. They usually do have a big vein of fat in them. They usually do, yes indeed. If you buy ground chuck, this is what you're getting, people. Just like this. I'll try to get all the meat I can. All right, y'all won't need to watch me cut up every bit of this, but I'm going to cut all this up. Then I'm going to put it in these bags and seal it up. Then we'll be on to our chicken. Okay, y'all. And with your meat, you don't want it to settle like that. You want to kind of put it in a single layer with your little cubes. Same reason I did my beef that way, my ground beef. So that it'll thaw quicker. Well, what happened? Let's try this again. Okay, y'all, I'm back again. Now we've got London broil. And we're going to marinate this before we ever put it in the freezer. If I can get the marinade open. I'm having a tough time. There's the little things. Maybe it'll come open now. There we go, we got it. Yeah. All right. Now then, it's the same knife I cut my other beef with. It'll be just fine. And let's see, I think I'll cut this in small pieces. About 4 small pieces there. 1, 2, 3, 5 pieces there. All right, that'll give us 2 meals of this. All right, let's mark on here what we got. I don't like that big fat marker. I'm gonna find my thinner marker because I know I have one. I'm supposed to have one right here in this drawer, or 2 in this drawer. But they're not there. Isn't that the way it always is? Isn't that the way it always is? I've got all these big fat Sharpies. My others seem to have disappeared, so I guess I'm just doomed today to have a fat Sharpie, right? Okay, that's all I've got on that roll. To get me out another roll, but that's a good size right there. Let's write on it what it is. Alrighty. And I'm going to lay these in here kind of just like this. Can y'all see? I don't know if you can or not. I'm going to lay them in here, in side to side. Kind of go across here. Put another little one right there. Alright. That one right there. Get these in here. Okie doke. Now then, just pour this, and this is just the KC Masterpiece Classic Steakhouse Marinade. And I'm just going to divide it between those 2 bags. Get out of there. I've got me a trash thief now. Got my trash there on the floor and somebody's after it. Alrighty, and this right here, you have to just hit seal. You cannot vacuum it, okay? Because if you vacuum it, it pulls all your marinade out. But I've just got 2 bags of this, and y'all, it won't last but a couple of weeks. It's not going to freeze or burn in that period of time. So, there it is. There's one. I'll have to get something and wipe that off. Let's use this towel right here. So it'll seal. Then I'm going to get all this cleaned up. We're going to do our chicken. All right, there's our 2 things of steak. That'll go in the refrigerator. I'll take this trash out and I'll be back with y'all here in just a minute. Okay, y'all, I gotta raise y'all up so you can see what we're doing. Can't see anything, can you? Now you can. Well, we're back to the last of our 4-hour long meal prep video. No, this is not 4 hours for you all because you would be bored out of your minds and you all would be going, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not even going to pretend to watch her for 4 hours. Okay, so I'm going to try to make this one quick. We're going to make 3 marinades. One's a teriyaki sauce, one's a honey orange, and one is a maple brown sugar. And these are all flavors that go wonderfully with pork. And I've got a whole pork loin. I'm going to cut some of it in chops, some of it in real thin little slivers and slices, and some of it I'll do a roast. All right, so here we go. First, we're going to start with our teriyaki because it has to cook. The other two do not. This one, we need 1 1/4 cups of water. So here's 1 cup. Let's get 1/4 of a cup. There's 1/4 of a cup. 1/4 of a cup of soy sauce. Y'all can use the low sodium if you have it or want to. Mine's regular because that's just what I happen to have. I was out of the low salt. But we don't add salt to this, do we? No, so you're okay usually with that. 5 tablespoons of packed brown sugar. And here is my brown sugar. Here is my tablespoon. We need 5 of these packed. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Y'all can buy teriyaki sauce, but it's not as good as this. This is a really good recipe. There's 5 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of honey, y'all don't put your honey in the refrigerator, it'll turn to sugar, and this has been in the cabinet and it may have turned to sugar. I may have to stick it in the microwave for just a second. I think I'm gonna have to. Okay, I think maybe we've got it now. Let's try again. It will solidify, honey will. It's coming slow. It's cold. And the honey's going. I don't want to come out of my nice warm little jar. You'll see it's turning to sugar. Had it about too long. It's a good thing I'm using it today. Okay, there's our tablespoon of honey. We need ginger. Where's ginger? There's ginger. 1/2 teaspoon of ginger. Here's 1/2 teaspoon of ginger. 1/4 teaspoon of garlic. I can write this down, I hope. 1/4 teaspoon of garlic. 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. It's right here. Here's the tablespoon. I need 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Here's 1. Somebody's wanting me in. Let me let them in. Come in.
Come in.
They've been out and about today. The door was locked. I didn't realize it. All right, I'm going to put this over here on the stove and let it start to boil. That's the first one. For marinade number 2, we need a little bowl, I guess, or something to put it in. We're putting this little measuring cup. We need a tablespoon of orange peel, and I use this.
Whoa.
This is a half a tablespoon.
Oh my God, Johnson City.
Okay, we've got in our 1 tablespoon orange peel, 3 tablespoons of honey. You know it's not wanting to work right, is it? There's 1. Well, I think we're just going to go with whatever we can get close to this because it's not wanting to participate. There's 2. Okay, we're going to say that's close to 3 right there. All right, we're going to go with that and say it's 3. How's that sound to y'all? Sounds good to me. All right, now then, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. 2 tablespoons of oil.
Whoa. Cowboy at the grocery store.
You've been to a grocery store. 2 tablespoons of oil. There's 1 and 2. A tablespoon of vinegar, and I'm using apple cider vinegar. Got a little extra. That's all right. It won't hurt. 2 tablespoons of oil. I did that. A tablespoon of vinegar. 1/2 teaspoon of ginger. That's a tablespoon. There's 1/2 teaspoon. Here's ginger. Well, I got that one on the bounce. Oh, I got ginger in my salt, you all. Put the lid back on the salt. And 1/4 teaspoon of garlic. There's 1/4 teaspoon. Gonna mix this one up and let it set a few minutes. You know, that made about 1/2 cup, which is good for one thing to marinate. And that's all I'll do, is just 1 this time. Now we got to mix up our maple brown sugar. Okie doke. Now we're to our last marinade we're going to make. It's a maple brown sugar marinade. And it's also going on some of our pork. Some of our pork I'll just leave plain. But we're going to do 3 marinated porks. And then the rest of it I'll slice into chops and so forth. All right, we need 3/4 of a cup of maple syrup. And this is 100% pure organic maple syrup. What did I say? 3/4 of a cup. Right into here. I'll wash this out. So we're going to do this right here. There we go. Maple syrup. 2 tablespoons of ketchup. Let me grab this out. I forgot my ketchup. Here's our tablespoon. We've used it for other things. Okay, there's 1. That was a heaping one because I left a little bit of ketchup. 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. This is a half, so I'll go with 4 of these. 1. I need something bigger than that. 2, 3, 4. 4 tablespoons of brown sugar. I'm gonna have to have a bigger bowl. Let's put it in this right here. Okay. There's all that. Ketchup, brown sugar, a tablespoon of vinegar, and I'm going to use apple cider vinegar. Tablespoon of vinegar. Tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. Okay, that's all of that. I need a half a teaspoon of salt. That's a 1/4. I'm going to put a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. And a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. And I'm not following the recipe, y'all. I've just changed it. Didn't call for the allspice, the ginger, or the nutmeg. I'm going to put a 1/4 teaspoon of ginger. And a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Well, I'll make a half a teaspoon of salt because that's what it called for. And I'm going to throw in just a 1/4 teaspoon of garlic. Then I'm going to taste it. And if I don't like the way it tastes, I'm going to start all over. All right, I'm going to whisk all this together. Right like this. Anytime I see allspice or think about using allspice, I think about Andy Griffith's show and when the pickle making. And Clara Edwards or Johnson or whatever she was at the time, you know, her name changed. She just went wild with allspice. So let's see if my going wild with allspice is good. Oh yeah. Oh yum. I need to write that down so I don't forget it. All these over here, we'll get all this stuff put up, and then we're going to get out our pork, cut it, marinate it, and get it ready to go in the freezer, and that's going to be it for today, folks. That's going to be all she wrote. Goes on the hook. All right, I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, y'all, this is the tail end of our day long, or half a day long, video about putting up meat and vegetables in my freezer that'll last me a month to 6 weeks. And you've got to remember, I'm cooking for 4, sometimes 5 people, and I do this every day. We don't go out to eat. We eat here all the time. So when I say it'll last me 4 to 6 weeks, that's about all I'll get out of it. Maybe a little more, but about 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, here is my boneless pork loin, and it weighs 7.5 pounds, and it was $2.28 a pound. All right, so I want some of it in chops and some of it in roasts. So I've got this board here with this well, and we don't need a very big roast for just 4 of us, okay? So there's one. And let's see, there's 2 roast. Now then, we're going to do some chops, and I'm going to cut them about yay thick. It's about 1 inch, I guess. Because I'll probably bake these. I'm going to marinate these. And I'll put 5 in a package. Okay, there's my chops. There's me 5 chops, 2 roasts, and let's see, I'm going to cut some real thin. Just almost shave it off if I can. That's what I do my teriyaki. And it is really good. But y'all can see how thin I'm going with that. You have to have a good sharp knife. See, look, you can almost see through that. Can y'all see? It's real thin. And some of the pieces are bigger, and I will cut them all down here in a minute once I get them all sliced off. This I'll make a homemade rice pilaf to go with it, and it is delicious. I believe that might be about enough of that. All right, now then, let's see. We'll cut some thin chops. These will be for quick fry 'em. And these I will just leave with nothing on them. And these will be a quick fry to go with, I'll put salt and pepper on them. And I don't know, we might have mashed potatoes, or who knows what we'll have with them. Two, three, 4, 5. I'll cut one more. There's 6. And these I can cut about medium thickness. These are bigger, so I'll just get 4 of these, and that'll be it, y'all. So there's 4 kind of thick ones, some thin ones, 2 roasts, I do want to cut that teriyaki up just a little bit more. And here's our glazes right there. Alright, I'm going to put this over here and kind of cut it. Just kind of chunk it up. It's cut real thin anyway, but I don't want big slices because I'll just pan sear this really fast with that teriyaki glaze and maybe a little bit of butter. Make it like a stir fry. One more piece. Alrighty, there's that. Okie doke. Now then. Let me pull this up here where I can reach it again. And we need how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bags. So we got 6 meals out of this roast. That was $17. So 8 let's say 18, and we got 7 meals. It's a little more than $3 a meal for the meat. Oh, I got that in there. Yuck, 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 yuck. What'd I do with my scissors, y'all? There they are. What did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 3. I need 3 more bags. There's 1. Put that over there. And all this stuff will go in the washing machine with some bleach here after a while. And it'll all be nice and clean when it comes out. I need 1 more bag. 1 more bag. I gotta wait for it to seal the end. That's what I'm waiting on right here. Okay, 1 more. All right. Now then, we shall write on our bags, you know, where's our marker? Our marker. Here's a blue marker. I don't wipe to the black one. We'll go with blue. That'll work, won't it? All right, let's see. This will put our teriyaki pork. And we'll put the date. All right. We'll grab me some tongs because I'm tired of washing my hands every 2 seconds. I won't be quite so yucky this way. All right, and we're gonna, let me bring this over here. Here's our teriyaki sauce, y'all. See it right in there? You cooked it till it got a little bit thick. And now then, we're gonna scoop some of it out. Put it right over this meat. there we go. See? Isn't that pretty? Okay. There again, it's got marinade in it, so you do not let it vacuum all the way out, or it vacuums out every bit of the juice that's in there, and you do not want that to happen. And we'll flatten it out good before we put it in the freezer. So there's that one. Now then, let's just do our pork chops, our thin chops. That's these right up here. Okay, there's our 6 thin chops. Alrighty. Now then, we will do our thick maple. Here's our 4 thick ones. We're going to put that maple glaze on. Y'all, I try to lay them in one layer if I can. These I'm not going to be able to, but I can almost get them in one layer. Here's our maple. Give it another good stir. And I'm going to pour some in there. Didn't use quite all of it, but did quite a bit. All right. All right. Now then, we're going to do a roast. We'll do a honey orange. Honey orange roast. All right, there's this one. All right, we'll just let all that goodness just go right down in there, just like that. Pick our bag up here. There's that. There's our honey orange, and I will use every bit of this. And we've got one more row. And we've got one more thing of chops here. And we might do a maple roast. Because I've got plain ones already out there, y'all. So I want these to be Alrighty, for the rest of this. Like that. It smells so good. Smells so yummy. And then we've got one more chops, and I think we will just leave them plain. All right, y'all, this is it for today. This is it. This is it. I'm gonna wipe off my bags good, wash them good with some soap and water before I put them out there. Alright. Yeah, that'll make a good maple glazed roast and orange. You want to do them like this real good so that you get that glaze all over it, all the way around it. Then when you put them in your crock pot to cook them, which is what I normally do, put all your glaze and everything right in there with it. Now my hands are so sticky. All right, that's it, fellas, girls and boys. That's all she wrote for today. And my supper's already cooking. It's already almost done. So I gotta just clean up this mess, put everything away, and get my supper out. We fixed a pot roast for supper. Everybody wants to know how I did it. And I videoed it for y'all so y'all can see. Because I did it in the midst of all this other, but it took me 3 minutes. Absolutely 3 minutes is all it took me to put that roast in there. So, that's a really short video because, like I said, it took 3 minutes. So, remember, like, share, subscribe, comment. Ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a video. And keep watching. Come back. I'm not posting as much lately just because I've not had time. I don't get paid for this. I do it a lot for friends and family just because. And hopefully one day my daughter will watch these and go, I'm so glad my mama did that. She may or may not. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. But anyway, with all that being said, that'll be all for this one. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye for now.